There was a press release from the White House. They said they want to achieve everybody vaccinated and every country at least 70%. 70%. So they're trying to find ways to achieve their goal.
Going back to history, that's where the discrimination of cannabis came from.
Yes.
Because a lot of Mexicans was bringing hemp to the U.S. They used to make cloth, plastic, clothes, even biodiesel.
They should know the metes and bounds. They should have their deeds. They should know where to get this information.
And when Nasri speaks about, that we're already behind the education system, there are some schools that they were moving in a good direction.
How can we mold boys into good men? Society in crisis.
That's the game with the road. We probably now with bloody politicians will play that game there and think everybody fool. Tell everybody what you do. And if you get money, share it with me now. Share it. But
you think they understand?
Most of them don't even know where they go on. That's the game with the road. We probably now with bloody politicians.
Society in crisis.
So they're trying to find ways to achieve their goal.
Sea view rooms. Ice cold drinks so you can relax and unwind on our overwater or poolside decks. Contact us at 501-615-4485, 65 or 67. Good night and welcome to the Zenaida Moya Show. I am your host, Zenaida. It's a pleasure to be here tonight on this lovely Tuesday in Belize, Central America. It's currently 7 p.m., 7:02 p.m. and it's July the 12th, 2022. We're live in studio, and tonight we have one of our guests who has been, people have really loved this guest, including myself. Someone who is very informative, someone who's very insightful, of course very educated, and someone who really brings that extra to the conversation. And so tonight we have joining us, no stranger to the Zenaida Moya show, we have Mr. Brian Plummer. He's an educator, an author, and a foreign columnist. Good night, Mr. Plummer.
Hi, thanks for that generous introduction, and I know we'll have a fruitful discussion today as per normal. And good night, everyone.
Yes, and tonight, as you all know, we will be discussing a topic that I believe just about everyone can relate to. All right? Well, particularly adults and probably teenagers, from teenagers up definitely. Love, hate, violence, and control. We have seen the impact of this throughout the world. This isn't only a Belize, situation that we're dealing with. This is throughout the world. However, before we get into the discussion, I wanna first of all, just remind everybody that we are live on the Facebook, the Zenaida Moya Show Facebook page, and of course Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. However, we are also live on Maximum Television, but we call it Max for short. Max TV and radio on Central Cable TV and Internet. You're on channel 51 if you're in Corozal, Orange Walk, and Ladyville. All right, that's channel 51. If you're in San Pedro, it's channel 33. And of course, if you are in Belize City, Belmopan, Cayo, Dangriga, Punta Gorda, you are on channel 14. All right, so just in case you know of certain persons who may want to watch a show but do not have a Facebook account, and of course with Facebook, people can watch it just like TV. You have a lot of our viewers, they watch it just like TV. You don't even know that they're tuning in. They don't enter into, it's almost like a chat room. You enter into, and then we will see you are online, and you can, make your comments. But there's a lot of persons who just watch it like TV. It just goes on and they just watch it. That's fine too, all right? And we thank you for tuning in. So with that said, of course, I want to say good night to all our viewers, okay? All viewers, and of course, we have those on the Facebook page who they will ensure that they're here every week, really, and they give their comments and so forth. So Nancy De Paz, Rachel Ann, Balderramos, Orlando Pelayo, all the others who are tuning in, and just know that this show will be a very interesting one. Now, Brian, you are someone who is very, insightful and have been seeing what has been going on. You're a man of great research, high intellect, and you are somebody who deals with statistics as well. You deal with facts and figures. You're not just one who speaks, so you see what's happening. And before we get into the violence and control part, I want to ask you, all right? Everybody have a different meaning, or a lot of people will have a definition for love.
Yes.
But I want to hear from you.
Well, You could look at it at several levels, just like everything else. You have the dictionary definition, and I'll go through that, which is just a deep emotional attachment to something or someone. But let's go beyond that. That's just a superficial level. At the psychological level, love is when you think you need something. I love that car, I love that woman. Somehow you believe you need it, people transfer that into love. It's a psychological thing. I love without my car, without my whatever, without my job, I love it, whatever.
Yes.
So there's a psychological aspect where you think, through your perception, you believe you need it.
Yes.
Existence is not worth without it.
Yes.
From a social perspective, no, it's a very complex thing. And it's where you feel joy. Anything that brings love is when it brings happiness.
Yes.
So some people love the nature, they love this. So there's all kinds of angles you could look at it.
Yeah.
Right? It could be just a social level, psychological, technical level. But most people believe in duality, just like you can't have God without the devil, you can't have good without bad, you can't have sunshine without the rain. It's part of human beings' understanding of the world.
Yeah.
Right? Because if I love you and someone's stressing you, I might hate them.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it's a duality.
Yes.
It's the other side of the coin, because two of them are emotions. In modern science, they call human being Homo sapien, meaning knowing man. But that's not true. Human beings are actually Homo sentient, feeling man. Knowing, there is nobody, even me, and I'm very rational, and a lot of other people, even the top scientists, who don't have feeling. They rationalize it away and say, well, I'm doing this. The feeling always comes first. Emotion comes from motion. It's what causes you to act. You cannot act without emotion. It's impossible. They like to say females are emotional. No. Females display their emotion more than males. But males are as emotional as females. But they teach us through socialization how to control it, how to direct it, how to do it with anger instead of cry. So both my opinion and my experience and all the psychology I've read and all my almost 30 years, going on 30 years as a teacher, and I started in 1993, is that both male and female are equally emotional. It's the expression of that emotion that female express it differently.
That's very interesting to hear because, a lot of times people equate.
That's superficial.
Yeah, they'll equate emotions.
With female, I know.
With female.
That's not true. Male just don't express it.
Yeah.
It's socialization.
It's socialization from they're very young.
Maybe they express it with cursing or drinking, but female will express it outwardly, crying, and getting angry. They are trained to show, because it has to do with two things. It has to do with control. Yeah. Female control differently from male. I'm speaking as a teacher now, and just as a regular human being. Whenever most females want to get somebody to do with you, they appeal to your emotions. Like a time I took a student in front of the principal, and she was a female principal, and the female cried. I as a man felt bad. That female principal just dry crocodile tears. She didn't even blink.
Okay.
She understand the game.
Okay. If it was a game, she understood it.
From a female perspective.
Okay, because it could have been real tears.
It could have been real tears, but she knew it's a power play also, like a baby crying for the battle.
Yes.
It's a signal.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
While male will give that signal differently, but the male will give a power play too. No, with threats. I could call up my boys, and you know, we are past my house.
Yes. Up their chest and act like, yeah, you know,
but
they're okay.
Yes, so I think it's a myth, it's a stereotype that males are less emotional. Males just express the emotions differently. Being you, the only way you don't have emotion if you're dead.
Yes.
Once you're alive, it's just how you express them. Because when I'm angry, most of the time I don't react, I become pensive. So people might think I'm not emotional.
I want to just stick up in here. Let me just go quickly to the comments, guys. Again, just good night to everybody else. Gregory Morrison watching in Los Angeles. Good night, my friend. Charlotte Ferguson, I believe you're in Houston. Good night, good night. You know, I want to say though that we have this, okay, Bashar, she said, hello everyone, because we're speaking about such an important topic, so I just want to bring this up. Hello everyone, it's a wonderful thing to share my testimony of how I got back with my ex-husband after he said he doesn't have anything to do with me. Because we had a little misunderstanding, he left me. But today I will proudly tell the whole world that we are together after I contacted Dr. Ernest. And she speaks about he cast a love spell that brought back my ex-husband. Now we are happy together. All right, so she's speaking about that and so forth. But you know, I want to say that this when we had decided to discuss this topic, I got a lot of messages from persons. And before we go into hate, I want to say some of the things that I had certain discussions with certain individuals. I won't call any name at all, but they were telling me that, and I'll tell you just the different angles, that they felt it was a very important thing because, you know, and they were mainly females, that women give love and female give love, and they show it, they wear it on their sleeve, just like what you said, that emotional aspect comes out.
That's socialization.
That's socialization. But it seems, and I know this one particular person told me, it seems like her partner didn't care about her, didn't love her enough, showed her disdain, they showed her like he didn't care, you know, and she felt that was hate. We're going to get into what is hate. But she felt that was hate because you know, if he doesn't love her, it's hate. So it's like one or the other, and that's what you were talking about. And the coldness, all right? But, you know, again, it was turning into an escalation of arguments, you know, and there seemed to be, it could lead to violence. But at the same time, there was a level of control. She felt certain words, control. Because, you know, still she's not allowed to be among friends, you know, go out, dress beautifully, things like that. So that's one of the persons who told me, and I just felt that just kind of summed it up in different things that persons may be going through.
And that is real, but to expand on it and give several perspectives is that from a male perspective, when I was a younger male, I don't think this way. You tend to want to prove that you're a man, or you want to identify with the societal role of a man. You're not soft, you're tough, all those other traits that men are. You're strong, you're bold, whatever. Yes. And so when you're young, but some men never overcome it, but when you're young, most young men, you find it more common in young men, but even in older guys too, they don't mature. They mature differently. And you tend to want to identify with the role of a male, right? And there's this type, let's go back to medieval time where the men were the rescuers and fighting. And Hitler said a quote, although I'm not a fan of Hitler, but it's an instructive quote, which some men believe sociologically. He said, men are to warfare as female are to childbirth. When he was promoting his work.
Yes.
And I don't agree with it, but I understand it's a social construct. And so being a man, you have to war and so on is about trying to shape the world how you want it through force.
Yes.
Right? And so that part of being a male, some people call it toxic masculinity with this movement in the States, but it's a useful trait.
Yes.
When we were warring tribes, you
Yes.
needed a protector in medieval time.
Yes.
It was very useful because the people are warring every minute, and maybe if you live in certain socio-economic environment, that kind of attitude could make your family and your friends survive.
But
I'm just saying, I don't agree with it, but I'm understanding it from just looking at it now. Can you now, you see, let's say they even did studies in psychology. They found that when a man acts violence, a lot of female ovulate. They get turned on by it. Wow. The bad boy. It's legendary. There are lots of movies, there's books, good girl like bad boy, all of that. It's very common.
Yeah.
Violence is a trait that's a currency. I see violence that I want to get something and I don't have money, I don't have sweet words, I can't get it.
Take it by force.
I can't get it, whatever else means.
Yeah.
It's a means to an end.
But you're correct.
No, I'm just looking. I'm not agreeing.
No, you're correct. And I saw.
It's a currency. Like I take money and I pay you to get your phone and whatever you have. So the currency that males are good at because we're physically stronger, a little bigger for the most part, which is natural. Yeah. Especially with socialization, with TV, the books, your friends, your other male friends, for men to resort to violence. Now, it has to be deconstructed. I'm not making excuses, but I'm saying that.
But before we get there, how about the hate? Because
there has to be some level of
hate. I don't see. I don't see somebody. I mean, it could happen, but if you totally love somebody, I'm not saying there's certain things you can't hurt somebody, but you would really think twice. So there has to be some, like I told you, this person said the opposite of love is hate. Yeah. No, that you could have a middle ground. You could have a middle ground. So explain to us this hate before we get in.
I'll explain it at different levels. At the dictionary level, it's an emotion just like love, but it's a dislike, discontent, disgust for something, right? So when you hate something, the word are going to Latin and the root. Mal means bad. When you hate something, you want bad things to happen to it. Yeah. That's hate. Yes. That's why mal in Spanish is bad, hate, malicious hatred. Yes. Right? Okay. It's part of the lexicon. Yes. So hate is when you want a bad outcome for something or someone due to your disgust or you feel threatened by it. Yeah. Whatever reason, you have a rationale, but you, as opposed to love where you want good things to happen to someone, bring joy for them. So hate is when you want bad, so-called bad thing, I put that in quote. People come to harm, maybe they lose their job or whatever else, bad things. Right? And that's very correct. And most people, human beings, for the most part, because of socialization, are very revengeful. People who hate generally feel that they have been wronged by who they hate. Maybe through historical evidence, maybe a white man will hate a black man, or a black man will hate a white man because you enslaved my ancestors, whatever reason.
Yes.
Or maybe one day a black person or a lighter skinned person insulted them about the color, whatever reason.
Yeah.
But it's usually linked to revenge. Hate and revenge there's a direct correlation
Yes.
between hate and revenge.
Revenge. Yes.
Direct.
Yes.
It's not 100%, but very high. So,
Yeah.
if the person feels like you have wronged them,
Yeah.
maybe as I say, it could be a historical wrong, or it could be a personal wrong, you tend to hate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm analyzing from a sociological, psychological perspective.
I'm looking at it because I'm even seeing racism.
Even that, they feel like they are wrong.
Demonstrating this. You know, I see you have certain people, for example, and I don't want to generalize, but for right now, I'm going to do it. For example, you have a lot of, let's say, Black Americans, all right? A lot of Black Americans, not all, let me put that out there. A lot of Black Americans, you know, there's a number of them, they hate white people. They hate white people in general, all right? And I've seen that even here in Belize, because I'm a part of particular groups, and I can see this one particular group that I can honestly say it kind of turns me off, because I see these Afro-Belizeans, Black Belizeans hate white people, and they'll actually say they hate them. Yeah. They hate white people, and I'm like, what? What? I mean, why would you hate, you know, a whole race of people?
Yeah,
why
I don't know all of them.
Of the color, and they're saying, well, back in the days there was slavery, and so that's why they hate. But I still don't see that as a reason to hate.
Yes, but it's a form of revenge.
People. But it's revenge, like what you're saying.
It's revenge.
It's revenge.
To put it a more polite way, political correct, they're trying to get justice.
Yes.
That's what revenge is for.
But I just see it's a grudge in them, and it eats them away, and there may be genuinely very good, you know, we call it clear skin person, white person, doesn't matter, that are good people. I can tell you that because, you know, I did both 9 degrees in the US, and I'll tell you, I had beautiful, wonderful, awesome friends, schoolmates, and teachers.
What most people don't
and I have family
understand also. Is that just like most white people were socialized that way.
Yes.
And you have to re-educate them in your family and so on. It's not that they are naturally racist or anything.
Yes.
Their whole socialization
No, but in this case I'm talking about it's like reverse.
Yeah. But
reverse
even
discrimination.
Also, that person has been socialized that way.
Because, for example, when I was
that person, whatever his experience just reinforces. See, when you believe certain things and you look for evidence, as a scientist, I understand that. You have a hypothesis and you test the hypothesis. All human beings do that. Somehow that person developed that hypothesis that black people good, white people bad. Simple hypothesis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And their experience, due to their perception, has reinforced it.
It's in some instances, Brian, I honestly feel it's some instances because
experience could be
it's some
mediated experiences, you know.
Or it could be taught.
Just could
experience
be,
versus
when
taught.
I see Floyd, George Floyd did, that proof. Watch it. That's an experience, it's second-hand experience. When I see George Floyd.
Yes, I know, yeah.
So when I say experience, it doesn't have to be to them.
Yes.
It could be.
And that, listen, that particular incident is like an outlier to me.
But they don't see it like that.
It's an outlier to me because that's not the norm. That's not the norm. However, it was something that was pushed into the limelight.
For political purpose.
And whatever grudges.
It was an election year and Trump.
Yes. Whatever grudge that just propelled that story forward. But what I'm telling you is, I can understand those persons who lived in the 60s, I guess, the 50s, whatever. I don't know, older folks, right? And they went through that. In certain areas they went through discrimination. But now you're talking about young children. Let's say in the case of young persons now who are in their teens, who just has, even in their 20s, but just has this genuine hate for someone. In particular, hold on. In particular, I will tell you, and this is because I'm telling you from experience of being in the U.S. in particular. And I'm going to call out the U.S. because that's one of the countries I've been to that I.
And the United States is the cultural center of the world.
Yes, so
emulates its culture through.
They're really in certain areas. There's this staunch hate, and I guess that is why. Because I also want to go into love, hate, violence and control in the home. Yeah. But now we're talking about in the community, in the country, in neighborhoods, and I can tell you that it's a staunch hate. Versus when you're in Belize, whilst there may be some of those persons.
The racism is superficial.
Yeah, it's
there's racism. Yeah, so that some derogatory name.
Yeah. You'll see. All right. So we have certain names that we call people. I don't know if I should be saying it, but come on. We know the names.
Yeah.
And
that's the level we take it.
Yeah, and so, but no.
We not kill nobody for that.
Yeah, we won't. So you'll see, let's say, a clear skinned person with a dark skinned person. That's the norm. They're together. Those are a lot of couples. It's no big deal, Versus when I'm in the U.S. in particular, and I can say when I'm in Africa, I don't really feel that. In Africa, I guess maybe it's a more.
This is only a hypothesis. I read a lot of history and sociology, and I think it depends on the powers that be, the government, the ruling elite, whether racism serves their purpose. I give an example. I read this book, Nigel Boran's Struggle for Freedom. It's about Belize and other parts of the Caribbean, and part of it compare Guyana and Belize. Yeah. Where Guyana have the Afro-Guyanese and the Indians, and we have the Mestizo and the Afro-Belizean. Yes. And the politics isn't as clear. Isn't as clear cut. And
Trinidad and Tobago as well.
Yeah, Trinidad. Yeah. But the most of Guyana, they mention
staunch.
The staunch is very and what happened, it was used as a political tool in those countries by the political parties, including America. Race is, when my sister was vexed, she said, I'm vexed with Biden because he said, you're black if you don't vote for him. That's why she told me when I was asking, because Biden actually used it as a political tool.
Yes.
To get votes.
The Democrats expect black people to that. A black person has to be a Democrat.
And she likes Biden. She doesn't like Trump and all that. But when he said that, she got angry. She told me on the phone. So, what in America, I think it's a political tool.
Yes, it is.
It's used to get votes and to get certain groups to do what they want and so on.
Definitely is.
Trump used it, Biden used it, all of them use it. It's a tool in America.
It's a tool.
Right? Yes. While in Belize, it's not a big political tool. The big political tool is dinero and stuff like that. Money. Dear lad, dear son, we are basic people, bread and butter issues.
Which is good. And I hope that's why.
So our culture
Belize is still, to me, in a place where it is still better to me than being in the U.S., especially.
It's because of the government. The government uses it.
And let me tell you, not all of the U.S. because
there are people just
I'm
like
talking about a lot of times the major cities. That's where the hate and the black versus white happens in major cities. To me, and because I have been throughout the U.S., all different states, different cities, you name it, I've been all over. And I don't feel that prejudice, that discrimination. I used to feel it. Now, listen, when I was doing my bachelor's degree in Washington State in 93, 94, 95, we went to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That's where they had, they had a KKK there. No, I was with my white friend. My roommates were all white. And I was there with them. Of course, I'm someone of color. I mean, when you're in the U.S. and it's snow, you get a bit clearer, but still, you're not pink.
Yeah.
So I was there, and we were nearby, but I didn't come across those people, but I knew that that was a home for them. But I never experienced racism there. We drove down to Portland. I didn't experience racism there. Of course, Chicago. But when we went down to San Francisco, LA or whatever, up to Seattle, Washington, there wasn't that. But I am telling you now, no. And of course, when I move over and go to Florida and so forth, no. But no. I experienced racism, however, as I had told you guys before, the racism was deep and entrenched, but it was from Black New Yorkers and persons from major cities like New York. That's where I had experienced the racism, and it was very profound in them that they felt it, and I said, you know what? It's their socialization. It's the era that they come from. You understand? And so I know that it is not only socialization, but it's also taught. Of course, maybe their families. Some of them went through it, because one of my friends, we were very close. We were in Michigan, for example. That's when I went to do my master's degree in Detroit, Michigan, and his mom, no, he's mixed, but his mom, I guess she probably was in the 60s and she probably felt it, but she had this utmost hate for white people, and I couldn't understand that hate, because we don't have that hate here in Belize. And even when I'm in England, I'm in Belgium, Portugal, in Europe, in different parts of Europe, Wales, I'll tell you the truth, I don't really feel that hate. I don't feel that hate even there. I'm not saying it's not there. I mean, I was in Germany, but I don't feel it like that. I genuinely, even in the Middle East, I didn't feel hate. But I felt, and I don't feel hate in Canada. Let me just throw that out there. I don't feel hate in Canada. However, I do feel the hate staunch in the US. I don't even feel it when I'm in South America. Yeah. You understand? I think Central America.
As I told you, it has to do with the sociological history of the US, and it has to do especially the urban. I don't want to go too much into the history of the US, but what happened is that to escape slavery, when the South, a lot of blacks moved to places like California, New York, go up north or whatever. Yes. And they expected it was the land of milk and honey. Because that's what they were told when they were down south. Let's escape freedom. And when they came to California, New York, it wasn't no land of milk and honey. It was a different kind of racism.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Institutionalized, as they call it, institutional racism, as they call it now in America. And so it's like that. It's a resentment. Right? It's a resentment because of what happened due to their history, and that resentment is. It's a genuine resentment. It's a genuine, and they got so. That's how politics play. Like I tell you, you have politics. It's the politics of America.
It's the politics, and even affirmative action. I'm seeing here. For example, Nancy DePaz says some good girls like bad boys. Agree. Rachel Balderrama says getting fired on your job too. Person will be mad, not doing good things, or hating or wishing bad on that person. Eventually, ask question. But the point is that even the affirmative action that played a role in terms, I saw it that, you know, because with affirmative action, you started to see blacks starting to get posts that they never
and
had
I show you,
gotten.
since
And
you
some
brought
whites
that up,
started to think they didn't really appreciate that. So again, that was a flip.
it's race, and it was based
Well,
on
it's
race.
political as well.
And it's politics. I tell you, it's politics.
Yeah.
That's why America has so much race. The politicians use it.
Yeah.
They utilize it.
But it's escalating, and why we are now seeing this, because now I didn't used to see a lot of posts, even when you go on social media, when it comes to Belizeans saying, oh, you know, it's because I'm black, or oh, black,
It's
black.
because-
But because now we see a lot of things from the US, it is
And
now
it's not
becoming
only that, I
ingrained
think
in
it
us.
is the
And in
economics
general,
that the USA,
in the
the
social
US
media.
now, the US is a declining empire. In wealth is more concentrated at the top of it than ever before. So the standard of about 10 years ago, I was on a plane and I met this teacher from New York who said, if this continues, America is going to have to have a revolution, because I am well educated and I'm struggling surviving. So the standard of living of Americans has dropped.
Yes.
And they need someone to blame. So America can't be as peaceful of when the standard of living was high. They were affluent country. Now, I don't want to say they are poor country, but they are less affluent country, relative to the world.
Yes.
America was here,
Yes.
and everybody else was down there.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
When they had the after World War II, they had over 50% of the world was gold. The GDP, everything, they were like farm. And so the affluence was there. But now America, the standard of living of most countries are on par of the so-called G20.
Yes.
Are on par of the US for the most part.
Yes.
And in some instances better. So because they have less, it's normal. When hard time, people quarrel.
Yeah.
Simple as that. When good time, we celebrate.
Yes.
America is going through hard time.
Hard time. Oh my.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's, you know, the
And we don't want them to go through hard time, because when they go through hard time, we go through hard time too.
they're going, by any, although politicians will say, by any stretch from the minute your debt is over 30 trillion, it's
Yes.
about 30 trillion. Just telling you, just borrowing. The deficit every year has been over 1, 2, 3 trillion.
Yeah.
You're not sustaining yourself.
Yes.
Only because you have the world reserve currency while you're surviving.
Yes. That's true.
That's the real reason. So I think there should be more conflict. It's just like when poverty go up, crime go up. It's a similar scenario from a sociological perspective.
So in terms now, and we've talked about outside, you know, we see now a lot of violence, all right, and that I had seen a lot of violence playing out in the US, and now I see that here in Belize. I see that, and you know, I'm not happy to say, but I see that there are a lot of persons now. I don't know if it's because of the isolation during those lockdowns, but people's heart have grown cold. A lot of people's heart have grown cold. They don't, to me, it doesn't seem that warmth. In the past, you would see people, you know, you see that warmth in their face, you know, they were genuinely had love in them. And now, again, also you can see it on social media, people are quick to laugh at people, make fun of people, you know, if something, I mean, I see even posts, Brian, I see posts when people die, they literally die, let's say they die by accident, or let's say they die because they did something that was a bit foolish, unwise. People would be laughing, and this person is dead. They would be laughing, and this person is dead. I mean, like, even certain persons, you know, they would be laughing. That's where I draw the line. When people die, you don't laugh at death like that.
All right.
But it seems like it's okay.
I will take it from the big level and carry it to the small level. What I've analyzed as happened is that The global elites have decided they need to bring in a new world order, digital money, and all different types of stuff. And just the way we should. And they plan to, I don't know if it's going to work out, but I've read papers and see the plan. They plan to phase out America and bring in China. Yeah. All the investment. That's the plan. Now, when I say bring in China, it's the idea of China. Yeah. Where did the lockdowns come from? China. Where have all the governments in the world? Doesn't matter which one have gotten more authority, including stay home 5 o'clock. Yes. Go in your bed 7 o'clock. Like we are children. Yes. Right? So it's not that China will rule the world. The idea of China. When I'm the best, people copy me. Remember we used to have a glove, Michael Jackson glove. Yes, yes. When you're the best, people copy you. And so China is now perceived as being the best by a lot. Right? And the data, the economic data is there. They are the factory of the world, which US was once. So now, because now there's uncertainty, apocalypse means the unveiling, and some religious people believe that it's end time, and that's their right to believe that. But every end is a new beginning, and they're not wrong. Yes. It's an end of how we used to live, and a new way is coming forth. Yes. So they're correct, it's end times. Yes. But it's not end like what you think end and everybody dead and no. It's end times, and therefore there's a lot of uncertainty. And people, when they are uncertain, they become they go to what we call survival mode. And due to our sociological history, we survived in bands and tribes. Yes. We have tribes here and bands in Belize. The ethnic groups are kind of bands and tribes, right? Yes. And you tend to cling towards your group because you feel safe amongst them and you don't trust the other group. And in hard times, a lot of people do that. Not everybody, but it's a strategy. People have different strategies. And the meanness and so on, I say it's all because COVID just accelerated it. It's people tend to be more serious and mean when they're in survival mode. Yes. When they feel threatened, when they feel that life, there's danger. You have to harden your heart. You know, it's kill or be killed. So I think the fear that the media has, the mainstream media, like the sky is falling, and has made people fear. And when you fear, you don't think rational. You will laugh at somebody who is dead. It's actually fear, you know, but that's how you respond to it. When we say fear, is that you know that there is danger. Fear comes from knowing that there is danger, and you need to respond, and you choose an odd way of responding.
But you think it's fear? In some instances, I think it's hate, and I think it's hate. Sometimes it's jealousy, hopelessness.
It's hate. We not only dispute it's hate, but most hatred and fear are interlinked in that. You know, if I feel like you'll do harm to me, I hate you. Yes. If I feel that your existence threatens mine, I hate you. Yes. Because in my existence, fear is to help you to survive. Mm-hmm. And so, when people act that way, it's because that's how they put up mental walls. Even a bully to survive. I don't want to get too much into the psychological numbers. Most bullies were bullied. And so they found out to be tough. And be the bully instead of being, you understand? Yes. So I think it's a survival mechanism. It sounds crazy, but being a teacher, I see these survival mechanisms that people find ways to survive differently.
I want to just say, okay, So Ruben Martinez says, I live in Arizona. All right, good night, Ruben, by the way. I live in Arizona, moved here from Los Angeles in 2008. When I visit LA, I get asked the question all the time by my Belizean people. Why move to Arizona? Because it's a racist state. Yeah. But in my experience, it's not. I know they're going by perception. So you see what he said, and I'm glad he said it because he was in LA. Yeah.
That's what they
perhaps
say.
If he still stayed in
Republican
LA,
state.
he would still feel that,
racism.
oh my gosh, it's racism. But then you move to a state like Arizona, and you had that perception. You go there, and you think people there are racist. See, he's there. He doesn't feel it. In my experience, it's not. And it's the same way I feel when I go to particular states in the US and they speak about it, but I don't feel it. I don't feel it. And, everybody would have their different feeling. Rachel Balarama says, education started within the home. Upbringing of your children. Teacher your children value of life, teaching your children value of life, not using discrimination against others. Exactly. Good night, Antoinette Polonio. Good night. Good evening. So what I want to tell you though, because I want us, we've discussed this level of violence and the perception and the fact that now we see it, perpetrating and really, to me, it's kind of flourishing, throughout the world. It's not only Belize, it's not only the US.
It's a global trend.
It's a global trend, and it's unfortunate because you will see people, like, look at the different incidences, and I'm not going to show those videos, but look at the different incidences when you see people being killed, punched, hit, kicked, stabbed to death. And nobody comes out. Now you may say in the case of the stabbing, I didn't want to get hurt. Man, you will see old lady being beat up by a young boy. I have videos of that. You will see people, older persons being beaten, and nobody steps to the plate and try to help these people. It's like all for themselves. It's like, okay, that person has to deal with it on his own. So in the past, that wouldn't happen. In the past, we were our brothers and our keepers, our brother and sisters keepers. But now it doesn't seem that way. It's like we're all for ourselves. No, we need to move to that state. And this is why I'm happy that Rachel said. She said, bringing of your children, you have to be the teacher and, of the value of life and not using discrimination against others. Because, see, listen, Brian, the way I see things, if you already have a hate for a color of people, so certain people who have that color, be it white, black, yellow, whatever color, brown, and you have that hate for those people, man, you might see somebody of that color that you hate, being trampled on, being beaten up, whatever it is.
You might smile.
And you might be smiling indeed and be happy and feel, accomplished. And, oh my gosh, I get to see this, this is beautiful. But that's not how I believe God wants us to be. You understand? We're supposed to be beacons of love and hope, and we're supposed to be beacons of brotherhood and camaraderie, and we're supposed to be beacons of joy and kindness. But even tolerance, that is not what is emanating. That's not what we're seeing. You understand? And we have to because now it is now trickling into the homes now. And I see now you have, for example, fathers, son or daughter killing father, killing their mother. You have brother killing their brother, killing their uncle. You understand? And of course you have man killing their wife and vice versa, or girlfriend. And it's like a coldness. They go wherever. I mean, we've been seeing the incidences. They'll go where they work. It's right in their home. They go to their family's house. They drag them out on the streets. It's rampant. They don't care. And now you're like, it's like almost like they're zombies. Like they're persons. Like they've been brainwashed now to not even care. And it's just that hating them and they'll just kill. They'll just kill that person and just like be okay with the consequence. So I just feel that it has moved now, and it's moved into societies such as Belizean society that used to be predominantly, one of love. And I can't speak of the 70s, and I can't speak of those but way back 60s. I can't speak of what I can tell you, what I saw in the 80s, as a young girl, 90s. I can tell you that we had love back then. We had genuine men. We would look, oh, Miss Marie, and oh, take her to Miss Marie. There was this love for them old people. You wouldn't think to have an old person in your home knowing fully well that old person has no food, or this pregnant woman and she needs help, and you can go and help chop her yard. You wouldn't do it. So that is where I want us to go now, Brian.
No, from my analysis of what I see happening generally is that when people get urbanized, this is a trend throughout the world.
Yes.
People tend to move away from the extended family. Yeah. Generally speaking.
Yes.
They tend to become smaller units, whatever groups they have, what they're more socialized with co-workers and so on. So what has happened in the Middle East and the world have moved from a rural. We don't want to get too much into the global, but generally, before the Industrial Revolution, about 85% of the people were farmers.
Yes.
Then, now, farming, Belize is an agricultural country, not even 25% of the population are farmers.
Yeah.
So, when you live in that rural where you know your neighbor, where you help, I don't want to classify it, but it's a traditional rural mentality.
Yes.
The urban mentality, I have to get rich, I have to climb the ladder of success.
Yeah.
And you forget those other values.
Yes.
The family, the other values, to help your neighbor.
Yes.
So now, couple that with economic problems of the world, with the television, the violence and social media, the different style of parenting. My mother was strict. These parents are permissive. They're not as strict as the parents from way back.
Yes.
Well, that's right or wrong, that's their prerogative. But I just showing you a difference.
Yeah, those parents held a tight rein to some extent. Yeah.
Yes, when we were young.
Yeah.
So all that is a cocktail. Life is very simple.
Yeah.
Like the Bible says, you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Cause, effect. Everything has
Because even porn, I think that with porn, I think that is also a factor into sexual violence.
Multitude, legions of factors, but generally it's the breaking down of society into this urban, but it's a disorganized urban. It's not an urban like Japan, very structured.
People don't even go to church anymore, so again, that's a factor too.
Yes, all that. So it's part of, I call it modern urbanization, where people tend to be materialistic. Like Madonna said, material girl, living in a material world.
Yeah.
People, when I talk to these students, my students, They don't talk about achievement as being a doctor, like achievement to have one car, one fancy phone. It's very mechanistic.
Oh, so it's not
different.
okay.
It's different from in my time.
Oh, so it's not okay. I want to be a doctor to help treat people and make people.
That's rare. You might have one or two of that. But the most thing is material driven. People who are driven by success.
Yes. Yes.
It's a different value system.
Yeah. So Brian, with that said, because now it has really gone into the homes and it has taken a trajectory that the youngest, it's been felt on the youngest, it's what will happen to that generation and what can we do to curb what is happening.
Just like everything else, you first have to do it as a problem. If I'm an alcoholic and I say I'm not an alcoholic, nothing will happen. I'll continue. We have to see we have a problem.
Yes.
As a society, we have to say we don't like the direction we're going.
Yes.
So that's the first. If we think everything is hunky dory and we are all good, hippie parade, we won't solve it. So we first have to recognize a problem.
Yes.
Then, as a group, we have to see what's the best way we could solve it.
Okay.
And I don't think our political leaders, our church leaders, nor our community leaders have recognized the magnitude of this problem. When I listen to the church, whichever church, Anglican, even the evangelical, they are more concerned about personal salvation.
Yeah.
All of them. Whichever one, the Muslim, the Buddhist, the Hindu, all of them, for the most part. It's a more my personal salvation.
Okay. Yes.
Instead of the community. Even, I have never heard a sermon. I don't go to church anymore, but I used to when I was very young. And I have never heard a sermon about community and about my brother and about helping others and about none of that.
So they who should be playing a role, because they're the one who.
When you go to church, they tell you about.
They're not doing that. That's what you're saying.
They're doing about me, my relationship with God, and me, and nothing is wrong with that. That has its place. But if
prosperity sermons.
Yeah, for the most part. But when you reach maturity, you realize that me is important. I'm very individualistic, but I know that I only develop through others.
Yeah.
And so when I communicate, when I help people, it's not totally selfish. I used to volunteer for years at the hospital, at the library, a lot of different voluntary things I used to do.
Yes.
But I never wanted money. I wanted personal development. And I also wanted to make the world a better place. At the library, I used to volunteer. But it was, in my view, people might think it's not selfish. It was a selfish act.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to develop myself through helping others.
Yeah.
It wasn't self that I was helping these poor little boys and poor little girls. It was beyond that.
Yeah.
I need to give back. I've been gotten a lot. I need to see and understand people because I live in a mental world. I like to read. And so, this is just personal. My view is that I need to feel and see what the people are doing.
Yeah.
I don't want to lock up in the intellectual world and just, no man, I want to go there. So it was a selfish act.
Yes.
In the sense that I wanted to help, yes, all that good thing, but I also had a personal gain too. Yes. But it wasn't material, it wasn't about money. Because most people, it's always about money.
Yeah.
With most people. So I think we have to recognize that, like Socrates says, man is a social animal. Human beings are inevitably social is the direct quote.
Yeah.
You are social. All of us are social.
Yeah.
Every human being. Mm-hmm. In fact, one of the greatest punishments, jail isn't bad. when they give trouble in jail, they put them in a solitary confinement.
Yeah.
That's the greatest punishment.
Yes.
So
That's true.
once we realize that we are social, and if I don't worry about me, I will feel because I am social.
Yes.
I inevitably have to.
So Brian, we know, I told you it's now in the homes, right? And we have our young persons growing up. And like I told you, I had when particular individuals heard this was a topic that would be discussed, right? Because I mentioned it before. I got certain calls, right? Because they wanted to hear, and I'm sure they're listening, by the way. So good night, everybody, once again, both on television, all those viewing on television throughout the country, and of course, all those tuning in on the different mediums, whether it's the Zenaida Moya Show medium or whether it's Maximum TV, Max TV, and radio medium, because they're on different entities. But the thing that was mentioned, as I told you, was it is now affecting persons. And one other person that I had also spoken with is someone who's a bit younger. And this person was discussing how it's like, the love that used to happen when people were older. I guess they're talking about mother and so forth. In couples, they used to love each other. So when this boy was courting, there used to be courting. They would, have that love. But now, guys, and this is what, and it really struck a chord in me, because he says, now you have guys calling girls the B word, so or even saying, this is my B. I won't say the word, this is my B. Yeah. This is my B, and this is, they call people, and some of these girls, it's okay now, it's okay that they call themselves a B. Hey, I'm a boss B, I'm a B. So
it's reverse psychology.
So what I'm telling you now, it's that the lack of respect that now you will see younger guys watching girls being beat up. Let's say their boyfriend is beating them up right in front of their face, or their woman be beaten up. We've seen videos. I recall I saw, even his particular football player. What he was telling his girlfriend was this, but she just stood there again. The following day, they were happy together. These young people are okay with being treated like dirt. They're okay with being called a B. They're okay by being disrespected. And then, it's not only on the female side, it's also on the male side too. Because you have some genuinely good guys who may go through those same things, but I'm just telling you, to a great extent, I see it happening, and it's a female now. And you can say, okay, it has to do with how they dress, or, and I genuinely feel even those porn movies now really subjugate people. It shows people in my view, that they're just a piece of meat, and there's no respect, there's no need to respect women and young girls.
All right. According to psychologists, 77% of what human beings learn, whatever human being, is by imitation. That's how baby learn to talk, to walk, everything. So, the environment that we're in, again I go back, my thing is materialism.
Yes.
That when a girl wants a boy, for the most part, they want somebody either a popular, or they have money, or something like that.
Yes.
So that shouldn't be the main reason you want somebody. That shouldn't be the cake. That should be the icing on the cake. The cake should be he loves me, he treats me well, he's kind, he's generous. See, in the past, the value was different. Women always wanted a rich guy and all of that. That was not, but what has changed? That's the cake itself. Nothing else matters.
Yeah.
The kindness, the being polite.
Yes.
When in my time you were polite, then the girl I like you, that was a trait.
Yes.
Yeah, like you if you're popular, all those things too, you know.
Yes.
But the politeness had something to do with it. But now that's not a factor. Right? The base things are factors.
Yes.
And so now, for the most part, to get a lot of these young girls, maybe you need a phone and that type of, give them a phone or something like that. So now, that doesn't justify it, and I'm not saying that makes it right, but I'm trying to see the cause and effect.
Yes.
Now, remember now, human beings, your economics, the main theory of economics, people do things based on incentives. Human beings, incentive is more powerful than even punishment. Incentive. So now, the incentive for men to be polite isn't there. There was an incentive in my time.
Yeah.
What's the incentive if I'm polite to a girl now? Will she like me? Doubt it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There has to be an incentive. Remember, it's natural a guy want a girl unless he's gay. Right? But remember, it's just economics. It's just like economics.
Yeah.
People do things based on incentive. Right? And is there an incentive? Honestly, with the younger generation, will they like a guy who is polite? Be honest.
I can't speak for them, but I don't
But
think
from what you observe, is that a factor?
No.
Is that a factor in the
No. In my generation, it is.
It was a factor, that's what I'm saying.
It is my...
Yes, it was a factor.
For me, and I guess my age group and so forth, if you're not nice to me, as a matter of fact, if you don't communicate with me, you're gone. I cannot deal with anybody who cannot communicate with. That's like numero uno. You cannot hit me, and when I mean you cannot hit me,
so
you cannot hit me at all.
I'm just telling you, it's a different value system.
You can't cheat on me. See, these are things you cannot. You have to be able to communicate with me. So you can't just think that you're gonna sit in front of a TV and just watch basketball all day and not communicate with me. No, I don't want that person. 2, you can't ever hit me. If you ever hit me, you're gone through the door. I will not deal with it. And if it's at a terrible thing, I'm somebody who will think about defending myself, and I'll do it however I can. 3, you cannot, what was the other one I told you? So they hit it, cheat on me. You cannot cheat on me at all. I will not tolerate it. I find out you cheat on me, you're gone. So those are certain things those are no for me. I can deal with. I want someone to be nice. I want someone to be sweet. I want someone to be able to talk well. I want someone to be decent. I want someone to tuck in their shirt. You know what I'm saying? I want someone to be well groomed. I want someone to talk, like a decent person.
I don't think that's a factor.
I want someone who's intelligent that can have
there's a small group who still want those things.
So I'm in that small group.
But now it's not a big factor. It's not
a big factor. So these young girls now,
they are not looking for that.
Yeah, they want the fancy guys, who
base instinct.
Yeah,
that was always the case. That was girls like fancy guys from Millennium, from way back. But there's also other factors.
But there's other factors, and those factors, however, is what is hurting them greatly. But before I go, I wanted to say, before we go on, I see good night, Gregory Morrison again, blessing and good evening. Yes, Pamela Borden Smith, Thanks for joining us. We're talking about love, hate, violence, and control. I mean, this is a topic that is very near and dear to us, and glad you could join us. Bobcat, glad you could join us. Rachel Balderramos, she says, our country is separated by rich and the poor, bring hatred and murder. Poor people are struggling everyday life. The rising of food, clothes, providing for family, healthcare, and the biggest problem, wages, is very low. You cannot feed your family. Better living, going down into poverty, it leads to more crime, and nobody cares about anybody anymore.
Survival mode.
That's right, Nancy. Tuck in the shirt, my friend. Tuck in the shirt. I don't like looking all raggedy. I'm not into that raggedy look. So, but yeah, so what Rachel is saying, is nobody cares anymore. I mean, some of us, we do care, and that's why we're
I'm telling you, human beings always care. Don't let them say they don't care, but how they express that caring. For example, I have a friend who is married, and his wife doesn't show no emotion, but his wife would maybe buy him a phone, and he's the bushy one, so he doesn't want, and he wants her. She said, he tell me that only I telling people have definition of love. My friend said, the only reason for love is for love. You don't have to have a reason for love. He can't understand that. It doesn't work like that.
Because we have our young people hurting because of the way guys will be treating them, and it's vice versa with how females will be treating them.
I think
there's a lot of hurt, and listen, people are even going so far of killing themselves, and that's a big deal because when you have a young person,
remember, as I tell you, need. I tell you, on the psychological level, love is a need. You feel like you need.
Yeah.
I say it's really need, but you feel that way.
Yeah. It's an emotion. They really want that. But if they're feeling, let's say, like this particular person spoke with me, and the fact that this person feels that her partner, her loved one, is not really showing the love.
I'm going to give you the male perspective.
It's difficult, and I feel
I'm going to give you the male perspective. Is once a male isn't getting what he wants, he tends to say, "All right, then, whatever happened." That's how they socialize us. Even they train us to be tough. So what he isn't getting what he wants. Now, I don't know if he didn't tell her what he wants, and the communication isn't there. That's probably the case. But this guy feel like he isn't getting what he wants, so he said, "To hell with it." Yeah. It's a way to prepare.
He didn't say anything because I was asking.
I said he's man. So this guy is willing to whatever you want, break up, whatever.
Yeah.
That's how men react.
But isn't that immature, Brian?
Well,
isn't that an immature form?
Whatever then, whatever. You're preparing for whatever, down for whatever, as they would say in America.
Yes.
You're down for whatever happens now. You're in the mood that you want to try and make this thing work, or you don't say whatever. You don't like, I'm going to throw in the curtain. You're not throwing the curtain.
Brian, we are living in a time when we see persons
that person
of different
mental
level. So you see some person who would take this to a level that would even kill themselves, or you see some persons who would even kill him.
Yeah. Psychological thing.
Would stalk him, would kill him, would if he tries to go in a different relationship, get in between that and do what they need. I mean, you're talking about that level of, that's how this generation is going, in my view. Whilst, my one would be like, to hell with you, like we move on, like we move on. Step, what's it said? To the left, okay, to the left. You know what I'm saying? That's how we would deal with it. But this generation is looking at it's different, and they could hate themselves, their self-esteem, they could get depressed, they start to take, people take drugs these days, they smoke all kinds of things, it's self-depreciation, and I just feel that we now have to really look at that, because whether or not the suicides are being discussed, it is something that is real. Yeah. Shirley, for instance, said, I don't want none of those things. That's a lot of other factors at my age. Just a little humor and join the conversation. But yeah, so I just want to tell you that whilst we may be discussing this and trying to discuss this in a very, objective manner, love, they always say there's a thin line between love and hate. You understand? Shirley Ferguson, and she's watching, I believe, from Houston, right, Charlotte, or Texas, I know. She says, but on a serious note, it's our society. Everyone is on survival mode.
Yeah, that's what, as I said, happening, and then people don't.
So anything can trigger
the cognitive
people.
level isn't high. The rational level, the reasoning faculty, is not what you depend upon. You depend on instinct when you're in survival mode.
But when you're on survival mode, Brian, remember,
you have to react fast.
You have to definitely have to react fast. But to be able to have that family or that support group with you, I believe it's extremely important when you are in survival mode. You see, and because
you need a community.
So it's almost such that
but
we should be at that level. We are isolated, and even for a great extent, these lockdowns pushed us that we had to isolate ourselves.
Even
so,
more, yeah.
It's something that they were saying, quarantine or be by yourselves, no socialization. Yeah. But all our lives, we understand. So it's paradoxical that you need to socialize. I mean,
you know what socialization teacher, besides love and all that, practically, compromise. You have to compromise with people. You can't always have things your way. It comes to the control. The more you socialize, the more you have to compromise. Mm-hmm. Why? If I'm by myself, I could be naked in my house. Mm-hmm. Anything, but if other people are around, that wouldn't be.
Nobody wants to see you.
You understand? So, I just use that as an example. Yes. So, when you're isolated, that's why I had a lot of pit bull many years ago, but before the hurricane 16, the hurricane, and when I wanted them to get back when they were pups, I locked them up during the day and let them out at night. So I understand isolation, and my pit bull were vicious.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So isolation gets you where you don't compromise.
Yeah.
You do, because this is how you do it, and you're in that survival. And then with the whole socio-economic meltdown of the Western world in particular in terms of economic, all countries for the most part are in economic turmoil.
Yes, yes.
You understand? And economics comes from the word household management. Mm-hmm. It's how you manage your household. The simple definition, the root word of it means household management, right? And so once the economy is not good, your household won't be good.
Yeah. So it's an underlying issue as well. It's an underlying issue, and if I can't
have a job, how will I take care of my family?
And it's also the heavy burden on single parents, because I can tell you that when you're a single parent, in my case, I own a business, I manage a business. I still, I'm a parent, you see, and of course I do try to ensure that, I also manage a group and so forth, and I help my kids with their schoolwork, things like that. So there's a heavy level of responsibility on me, and to a great extent a burden. It's a burden. It's an additional burden versus me being out there being free and just being able to, just be free like a bird, drive around, fly to whichever country, whatever it is. Now, having said that, we speak about survival mode. We now are at the point now you have a lot of
It's better to
single
survive in a
parents.
group. It's better to survive in a group than by yourself.
And it's so
sometimes.
difficult that because there's millions of persons who are single parents throughout the world, and now they have to be in their home. Sometimes they don't have a job, so that unemployment issue kicks in. They have their kids to feed. The other parent is not pulling their part. If they're alive, they're not pulling their part. The government is not giving any assistance. So you see how, so I could see how that plays a role. And let's say they're trying to do something to survival mode again. But their children, they're not able to really show love. Children need a nurturing.
Yes.
But you're not able to really sit down,
You're
like
too
back in
busy
the
trying
day.
to chase that dollar.
You're trying to find money to put food on the table. Now that child won't feel that love, won't experience that love. So that child will go out in some instances, or will go on the phone, social media, or TV, or some cartoon, or whatever it is, the internet, and will look and do an escape and cling on to something else. Children are like sponges, and they will look for love in different places. Okay? Because individuals like myself, and I won't take myself out there, like myself, Kelvin, like myself, will say that we now don't have time for that, but we love our children. And so we're going to make sure that we give whatever we can to have our children feel love. You understand the difference? Feel love. But then they don't feel love. They get their food, they have a roof on their table. And I'm not saying that's the case with my children, because I do believe my kids love me because I'm around them. And my daughter, she sleeps right next to me and she adores me and she loves me, and my son just the same. Yeah. So I'm not talking about me, but I'm just telling you see how it's paradoxical? It's isolation, yet you need that socialization. Then we have our children, and they're growing up now, and we see that the escalation of violence, the escalation of crime, we see murderers becoming younger, we see homicides, younger persons owning up to homicides. So that is what I wanted to say. I know Ruben Martinez said, well, first of all, you have here Rachel Balarama saying low self-esteem causes people not to value themselves and also love and appreciate everything around them. Charlotte Ferguson says we need to have more conversation with each other. It's like what was said in other show, this system wants to dehumanize us, and we're going to move to that right now. I want us to discuss that. Ruben Martinez says when you're in survival mode, it's like the last resort. I don't think good decisions are made in survival mode because the communication has broken down. It's over. Rachel Balarama says, I'm a single parent. I provide by baking bread and bun, selling food, soft drink, proud of it, paying my bill. Exactly. So we're there trying to ensure we do something, but at the same time, you never know, our loved ones may not feel that love. But what Charlotte said, it says, it seems that what was said in the other show, this system wants to dehumanize us.
Correct. All right. Now, remember, according to the World Economic Forum, by 2030, and AI, the fourth industrial revolution means that biology and technology will merge. That's the mark of it. Look it up, research it on the internet.
Yes.
So, technology and biology will become one. Artificial intelligence and so on.
Yes.
So the whole point, you're correct, that the whole world is moving more dehumanized. That's what technology does.
Yes.
There is no way it's human to talk on a phone. I'm going extreme to make you that. I need to see your expression. Yeah. I need to feel how you really feel.
Yes.
I could get some clue from your voice, but when I see your face, So we have been it's a gradual process where now everything is mediated and everything is done by a formula and by some method.
Yes,
right?
algorithms. And
everything.
Yes.
Even in our society is moving more that way. Not as far as maybe America or Europe, but it's still moving in that direction. And, so they want to dehumanize us basically because of control and profit.
Yeah.
Right? Control, profit is more efficient. Human beings, high maintenance.
Yeah.
We need more than just food, shelter, and clothing. We need emotional care. Let me step back and give you an intellectual background. They had this experiment in the 60s by Harry Harley. They took some monkeys and they fed one, and then they took some other monkeys and they fed it and cuddled it, all kind of things. They wanted to investigate if love was a factor in survival. Yes. They found that the monkey that was well fed but didn't experience no cuddling, no nothing, was maladjusted and was violent.
Okay.
And they were arguing in this paper I read that love is one of the key factors in success.
Yeah.
That people who experience love, and it was linked to self-esteem, have the self-esteem to have grit. Grit is a common word where you don't give up.
Yes.
You have to,
grit.
Yeah, love gives you grit because you believe in yourself, you think you have words, you think you're confident, you think, all of those positive things. So there's an intellectual background that people who experience love tend to be more successful than people who don't experience love because of the self-esteem and the grit they develop.
I can definitely believe that one. I can definitely see that one.
There's a paper I read on it. But so to give you that background now, and now in a society where love, the emotional aspect of love is not expressed. I don't want to say love isn't expressed. Love is expressed in this modern time through material. He showed me love by giving me my phone. He showed me love by taking me out to some fancy restaurant. Very material based love. But so people don't define love by showing affection anymore, for the most part. As I said, there's a small group that still does that, right? But the majority don't. People see love for the most part, of what you can do for me, material-wise.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
When I say even the parents and the children,
they teach the kids now.
They give them phone, they give them stuff, and that's how they show love. They don't tell them, honey, you are the beautifulest girl in the world. And little things that you're a handsome boy.
I guess I'm old school because
I'll
be like,
that kind of expression to build up the child.
Build up my child. You're the most beautiful little girl.
They don't do that again.
Beautiful little girl in the world.
I don't say, as I said, there's a small subgroup that still do it, but the vast majority don't do that. They don't.
So we have to get to that. We as parents have to do that.
Although I study science and they tell me that human beings are Homo sapien, sapien being knowledge, knowing man, I don't believe that. I believe human beings are Homo sentience, feeling man. Knowledge is secondary, but how we feel about it comes first. You understand? And we justify what we do. We don't do anything without feeling. It's impossible. I don't know how you could do something. But no, as I feel, how will you get up if you don't feel like it? You have to have that motion. I don't believe you could act without feeling. Now, it could be a strong or a powerful feeling or a weak feeling, but you have to have feeling. So, I think we need to understand that man is inevitably social human being, and that human beings don't only have material needs. They have emotional, psychological, and all kinds of needs.
Yes.
Right? I think somehow we decide that only the material needs are important.
I want us to wind down because I also want to say something about, just read a little, say something about the Belize Assembly of Persons with Diverse Abilities. So let me just say that, and then I'll go back and give some closing thought. Let me just say, guys, that the Belize Assembly of Persons with Diverse Abilities, BAPDA, they had held their annual general meeting on Saturday, July the 2nd at the Stella Maris School, located at Princess Margaret Drive in Belize City. The guest speaker was Mr. Marshall Nunes of the Disability Coordination Desk of the Belize Ministry of Human Development. And he spoke to the gathering. He said, this was the reason. He spoke to the gathered members of the recent activities held and are affecting the members, right? And all persons with disabilities since the inception of the COVID-19 pandemic. And the following persons were nominated and later unanimously elected to the various posts by the many members in attendance. We have as president, my good friend, Mr. Kenrick Theos, vice president, Mr. Francisco Cuellar, treasurer, Mr. Frank Garbutt, assistant treasurer, my schoolmate, Mr. Dion Sutherland, general secretary, Mrs. Charlotte Barrow, assistant secretary, Mrs. Jacqueline Burgess Waite, used to work with me at City Council, director, Mrs. Kathleen Skeen, Mrs. Roxana Marin, hi Roxana, director, Mrs. Anna Crawford. And so I just wanted, so Kenrick Theos wanted to just say that in a short address delivered after the election, he thanked the many who attended and asked for their continued support during the term. And they'll be looking forward to highlighting the Assembly and the Board's plan for the members regarding expansion of the Assembly to all district towns in the immediate future. So I just wanted to put that out. He had asked me to put it out, and I was to put it out from last week. So I wanted to just say that. And those, our brothers and sisters from the Belize Assembly of Persons with Diverse Abilities, and I like how they say diverse abilities, because I believe,
everybody have abilities.
Everybody, those with disabilities, they could be, there's this young boy who serves, this young man who serves at Full Tech, right? He's in a wheelchair. Excellent guy, excellent customer service. He's one of their assets, definitely one of their assets. Let me just say, Ruben Martinez says, great show, Miss Moya and Mr. Plummer, very enlightening. Rachel Valderrama said, Miss Moya, need people having good skills, helping each other, and have a skill-making soap. All right, so again, see, we are in this mode whereby we have to be always looking out for that bread and butter issue. Yeah. So I want to, again, just remind everybody that this show is brought to you through the courtesy of Sea Belize Vacation Rentals and Tours, located at 5 miles Philip Golson Highway, which is only 1 mile, 1 minute away from the Halover Bridge, if you know where the Halover Bridge is, right next to Belize City, in between Belize City and Ladyville. And we're located there. We have different vacation rentals, different levels, on 3 different floors. And we also have this big pool, a 40-foot pool that is very beautiful. And it's an infinity pool, 16 feet. Wide, 40 foot long, and 6 feet deep one end, 3 feet 8 inches on the other end, and it overlooks the sea, of course, and you can really enjoy and have a good time. I do see persons always trying to communicate, and they really love vacation rentals. So thank you very much, Rachel Ann. Yes, it is good topics indeed. So I want to hear from you your last words on this before we go ahead and close up.
I read a lot of philosophy, right? And I'll go into Eastern philosophy. See, in Western philosophy, it's all about the individual, and it's all about goals and so on.
Yes.
But in Eastern philosophy, whether it's the Chinese or Japanese or even African, I consider African Eastern philosophy.
Yes.
It's all about balance.
Yes.
It's all about balance. It's
That's
all
true.
about not yin and yang
Yin
and,
and yang,
and
yes.
all that kind of thing.
Yes.
Taoism and all that, the Tao. It's all about balance. And what we have done, we have went to an extreme where people value material, they value, and nothing is wrong with that. I value material too.
Yeah.
But I understand you cannot go to that extreme.
No, you can't. You can't.
Where it's only that, and if I have to kill 10 men, that kind of psychopathic value system,
Yes.
it's a psychopath. That's a psychopathic thing.
Yes.
It's not healthy.
No.
It's not healthy. It leads to self-destruction. So we must understand it's about balance.
Yeah.
Nothing is wrong with wanting to dress nice, have your hair done, have a nice car, that is okay.
Yeah.
But it's also okay not to have that.
Yeah.
It's also okay. You're not a failure if you don't have that.
Yeah.
Success is defined as there's a difference between success and achievement. Success is defined is that I'm happy with what I have. Mm-hmm. Achievement is defined as I get what I want. There's two different things there. People confuse achievement with success. Mm-hmm. See, I could be poor and I'm happy because I have a good wife, I have some wonderful children.
I'm doing things that I love doing.
Yes, I don't have no money.
Yeah.
You know, I have to hustle every day, but I could be content with that.
That's why some people
I'm happy with that. I don't want to
will
be
look
a
down on
millionaire.
others thinking that their job is not, is not something that is worthwhile. But that person's happy.
My
with it.
definition of success
See?
is that I'm happy with what I have.
That's right.
Whatever you have, I don't
Correct.
know. Well, I could live in a shack and real bad house, but I'm happy with that because I have a house. I'm not sleeping on the street.
Correct. Yeah.
You understand? I have a house. It might not be a 2-story house, or, So that's what success is in my book. That you're happy with what you have, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's very broad, and so we all could be successful if you look from it from that perspective. You have to be happy with what you have.
Yes.
But whatever you have, maybe all you have is a good mother.
Yes.
And many days you're struggling to eat, but you should be happy with that. Not saying you don't want to have a better economic standing, but that doesn't mean you're unhappy with what you have. Not because I want to make more money doesn't mean I'm not happy with the job I have.
Yes.
You understand?
But anyway, let's try and wrap up.
Yeah. So we must learn to be happy with what we have.
Yes.
Whatever we have, nothing is perfect. If you have a wife or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you might think that other person is better. And I'm not going to argue that with you, but everybody have thoughts.
Yeah.
There's not no perfect human being. That is madness.
Yes.
But you, instead of focusing on the bad qualities in that person,
Yeah.
because everybody have bad
The
qualities.
grass always looks greener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you look at the positive
Yes.
things? Like for instance, I lived in Belize because not some monetary thing. I got job offers in the States, more money in Trinidad. I never took it because of the community I have there. Mm-hmm. I will not have there. I have more money, nicer car, bigger house, but I won't have the community, the social, my friends, my family, the trees. I won't be able to see the trees, the sea, the beauty of knowing my neighbor. I lived in LA for 4 years. And one of my neighbors I knew. The rest, they just figures that go in the house and sit there and nobody. So I didn't want to live in the States. I could be much richer there because you're just a number there.
Yes.
Of no significance. You have money, you have to be a billionaire before you become significant. And so once we start to change our value system, that we understand that money is important, we're not going to deny that.
Yeah.
You know, you need it to survive the way how society.
Yes.
But there's also other factors, man. It's not the end all and be all. You understand?
Yeah.
That shift, and nobody could do it for you. Like Bob Marley said, free yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves could free your mind. This has been a deliberate effort by the corporate media, the books, the TV, the Facebook. They want to tell you you'll be happy if you get a car, you'll be happy if you get a house, you'll be happy if you get this and that, an iPhone 10, or some other nonsense thing. And people buy it. Right? And the government is the same thing. The government says, vote for me and you'll be happy because I'll give you a minimum wage of $5. Some other crap, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. So, but people don't understand that happiness doesn't come from outside. I'm going very philosophical. Happiness comes from within you because human being, as they say, is a wanting animal. You think Bill Gates is happy with the amount of money he has? No, he wants more. He's a billionaire. He'll never be happy because happiness doesn't come from within you. Doesn't come from outside things. It doesn't matter what you get, you just want more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying to be starved, broke, and poor either. I'm saying balance.
Yes.
So we have to understand that we have to have balance, and the Bible says reap what you sow. In science we say every action is an equal and opposite reaction, right? So you cannot focus only on material and expect to have the other aspect.
Exactly. So let's so people, we really have to ensure that, you know, we try to, you know, be role models to our kids and just understand that we have to also teach, we have to have self-love. We also have to teach that community love and express that love, show that love to our kids so that they in turn will feel and understand that love going out of their homes and going out in that community. All right? So, Claudette, good night, Claudette. Claudette Simmons, Melbourne Wade, good night. Jahid Avila says, I believe the church has a huge responsibility to teach the people a unifying theology that will teach and train their congregations to pool all their resources and do for self. Stop depending on a formless God outside ourselves and look at the God within. All right, so not everybody will agree to that one. God within. That's another topic. So,
that's a higher level.
But we do understand that we have to look within ourselves.
So it has to come from within you.
We have to come within, but
that's
we also,
correct.
you know, will not dismiss the fact that, you know, to say a formless God outside.
Yes, that's so, a little higher level.
Yeah, Evanir Mai says, like Bob Marley said, if money is happiness, you will never be happy since numbers don't have an end.
Yeah.
Good night to you. Good night to you, Evanir Mai. Good night. Good night. So I want us to wrap up, and we're going to have to just tell you guys that next week we'll be having another show, same time, same place here, live in studio. I want to thank you, Brian, for, of course, you know, really letting us discuss, you know, what it is that is really this love, hate, violence, and control, because we delved into all of them, and the control maybe, you know, is something that we're seeing much more of, and control is not only, you know, physical control, but also psychological control, also financial control. All right, so it's also financial control. And so we see that at different levels and different.
And I could tell you in terms of the economy of the world, I'm not asking you, I'm guaranteeing you, the economy of the Western world will get worse. Nothing is being done to make it better. Certain things are obvious. If all you're doing is borrowing and spending and not being productive, not producing anything, what do you think will happen? And the foundation of Western civilization right now is the United States. Love them or hate them.
Yes.
They are the leader of Western civilization right now.
Yes.
And for me, they are faltering, they are declining. And it's amazing to see before my very eyes. That
you have to watch what's happening with them indeed.
Because our dollar is linked to the US dollar 2-to-1.
Yes.
And the way how it looks, if they continue like that, by 2025, and I read this in a report from the Federal Reserve, the US dollar could devalue. You know, there's danger.
Yes.
Don't say it will happen, but it's heading down that road.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes, it's definitely. Because they printed out a lot of money. It's not based on, even their export. Yes, they do export, but it wasn't really based on all of that. It wasn't because of, a robust economy. It was just printing to be able to give money to people to stay at home during the lockdown, primarily, of course, to pay for arms weapons. They're still in the different parts of the world. They need to pay for these arms and so forth. So, but again, that's a whole.
Oh, that's a whole other level.
So I was
prepare ourselves that in terms of the economy of the world, I don't see it getting better anytime soon. However, you have to adjust.
Yes.
You have to adjust and understand. Even in Belize, even in America, the great America, they have diesel shortage. Certain things are missing off the shelf. The great America,
yes,
that's happening right now. And so once you understand that, and like I tell you, you must understand now that we're going through, in my opinion, the birth of a new world. And birth is a painful process. I don't know exactly what the world order will turn to, but I could bet anybody that we're going into a new world order. Right? Have some basic framework, and it's a birth of something new. Things will not be the same. We're going into over the weekend, Canada internet nationwide got shut down for 17 hours. No, I'm not talking Pakistan. I'm talking Canada, a so-called first world country. G20 and part of it. So there's definitely a shift. When the US start, and I'll bring this up just to plug it in, make you understand how things are changed. February 24th, when the US sanctioned Russia, the ruble was 84 point something. Let's say 84. Now the ruble is around 50 something. Russia is making more money from oil than it did before, and they threw the kitchen sink at Russia. What that's telling me, these people have another system set up. They're not depending on the SWIFT US system, because they're still doing business and Russia is still surviving.
Because Russia is going out also and making deals with these
so they have
leaders to say how they can pay and discussing ways of payment. So they're going into
correct. So what I'm telling you, that's a seismic shift. That will affect us because US remittance to Belize is high from the US, and that will affect them. That will cause more inflation. You see, US had a historic low inflation for a lot of reasons. They messed with the numbers. In the 70s, inflation calculation is different. It changes in the 80s to make it lower.
Yes.
Like, for example, they use in approximate rent instead of real rent. Anyway, what that means now is that US will experience more inflation because they used to export the inflation to the rest of the world by sending dollars to Belize or Russia or everywhere. Remember, the more dollars there is, the higher inflation in a country because
so they distributed it. They used to send out USAID, all of
they used to send out the money that make less inflation in the country because less dollars there somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, but now with Russia and even India, all those other countries doing business without the US dollar, more US dollar will have to go back to the US because they don't need it. US dollar is basically like monopoly money in Russia right now. They have no use for it because they can't spend it.
Yeah.
It's useless. This is a seismic shift. And there's no need to fear. There's no need to fear. It just means that you have to prepare and understand that things are in flux, things are changing. And whenever there's change, there's an adjustment that you have to do. And this whole chaos in the world is because when something new is starting, common sense is telling you, when something is, to have something new, you have to get rid of the old. And that's what's happening now. The old system, the old way of doing things, everything is different now. You don't travel freely now. From after 9/11, I feel like a prisoner when I'm traveling. I have to take off my shoes. I have to go through all kind of problems, difficulties. I already knew what that was heading. I already knew that. So the long and short of it, I'd just like to advise people one thing. You have to take charge of your feeling and your direction. Be happy with what you got. That doesn't mean you don't want more, but it means you won't kill for it.
Yeah. Okay. So with that said, I want to thank you, Brian. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you very much for tuning in. And, again, join us next week. I want to, again, just reiterate, this show is brought to you through the courtesy, of course, we have Maximum Television, short for Max TV and Radio. I want to thank you guys. They're on Central Cable and Internet. So thank you guys. Thank you also Sea Belize Vacation Rentals and Tours. So go ahead and I'll see you same place, same time, and let's move to our Sea Belize commercial. Should in case you guys are looking for a place to stay or for your loved one to come visit or just to come swim, relax and enjoy. Take it away, Kelvin. And I want to thank Kelvin LeBron Moya Flourish. He's the in-house technician, so I want to thank you. Of course, Ben Ruiz and Michael Salazar, I believe they are the ones in the studio at Max TV and Radio. So I want to thank you guys there. But of course, I always make sure who's in studio, who we're seeing, of course, Kelvin LeBron Moya Flowers. Thank you, my son, doing a great job as the in-house technician. He's at the master controls doing everything, 12 years old. Go ahead, Kelvin, take it away. Sea view rooms,
sell ice cold drinks so you can relax and unwind on our overwater or poolside decks. Contact us at 501-615-4485, 65 or 67.